Even though we're talking about a big warm-up coming into play over the weekend, we've had a few very cold nights putting plants that have been leafing out and blooming at risk. So you might have lots of questions. I know I do, about some of the things we need to be protecting and how to do it. And if you've got questions, Melody McDaniel has answers. Good morning,
Good morning, Joanne.
Joining us from Pike Nurseries. So I guess we should start with what are some of the things that we need to be protecting, because we usually tell people about April 15th, tax day, is sometimes the latest that we can still get a freeze around here.
Absolutely, yeah, we can still get a freeze, and because we've had such warm temperatures, we have more things this year that are tender than we usually do at this time. So a lot of times you'll think about things that are blooming, like azaleas. You want to cover those to protect the blooms and let them keep blooming. The plant will be fine most likely, but you can lose the blooms. The cool thing about encore azaleas is they do bloom again, so you'll have them again. But one thing you might not think about are your evergreen shrubs. So if you look at this boxwood and also this gardenia, what you're going to see, you see all this bright green growth, that's new growth, and it's tender. Now the boxwood itself with the evergreen would be fine, but because we've had warm weather and it's pushed out this new growth, you have to cover that as well. And just like next to you, the Japanese maple, those new leaves that have just come out are very tender. If you've put out any annuals, because we've been warm.
And a lot of people jumped the gun because the weather was so beautiful, they were inspired to do it,
right? You want to cover them. And even perennials that are coming up that are new, like these hostas you can see in different stages. This is frost cloth. You can cover with frost cloth overnight. You want to anchor it because it's usually a little bit windy, and then pull it off first thing in the morning because it can make it warm up really quickly when the sun comes out. Mulching is another great thing. If you put mulch around your plants, that helps to insulate the soil and water it in really well. And I know that kind of sounds counterintuitive.
Water in cold temperatures, don't seem right.
But water actually insulates the root system and keeps the plants nice and warm. Now, you may have damage, right?
Yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of people that have already had some damage from these temperatures.
If you see something like this, so this was left out in the cold, and you can see the blooms have bit the dust.
Yeah, they have.
What you want to do is you want to just kind of move those off. It can encourage fungus if you leave them to stay on there. And you look below that, so you can see most of the leaves look fine. If you have something like a shrub, what you can do is you can actually scratch the bark like that, and you can see it's green underneath. So the plant's still fine. You've lost the blooms, but your plant's going to be okay, and that's how you can kind of determine what damage you might have received.
So not all hope is lost then if you've already had some damage.
And if you have an evergreen that is left out, it's possible that the leaves will turn brown to black. You want to cut that back. Cut that back and it'll come back out again.
All right. Thank you so much for the help. You got anything going on at Pike Nurseries this weekend?
We sure do. We have a houseplant class at all locations this weekend.
Very good. Thank you so much. Stay warm. Elise?